Today's lesson is Surviving on the Move, the Great Wildebeest Migration. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike.
I am Roger.
And today we are back with our look at the Great Animal Migration, probably one of the largest migrations of animals that we know about in the world. Of course, there are bird migrations that happen all over the place, often from north to south between the winter and summer months. But this is a migration that happens in the continent of Africa, in sort of East and Central Africa, when they have the savanna, the sort of flat grasslands of Africa. And as we learned yesterday, every year, approximately 2 million wildebeest and a bunch of their gazelle and zebra and other antelope and deer friends will embark on a very long circular migration as they move around during the summertime looking for fresh pastures and fresh water, following the weather patterns of the continent during the hottest months. And along the way, of course, many of them fall victim to injury or disease, starvation, and also being hunted by a lot of the predators that, of course, make Africa such a well-known place for animal lovers and safari adventurers.
Indeed, and of course, we've got more things to say about the wildebeest migration in today's program, so let's get to it. Let's listen to the first part right now.
Observing the great wildebeest migration has become a bucket list experience for many nature lovers. Indeed, an entire industry has developed to serve travelers who want to experience this remarkable event. Local businesses benefit greatly from the influx of tourist money, but not everyone is happy. Some people worry that allowing too many visitors to observe the migration could have serious negative consequences. Specifically, they fear that the demand for additional facilities within Serengeti National Park could cause the wildebeests to change how and when they migrate.
大家好，第一部分介绍形容词 remarkable， 指非凡的、不同寻常的、引人注目的。例如 The remarkable durability of the product has made it a top choice among consumers. 此产品非凡的耐用性让它成为了消费者的首选。或者 Ted has a remarkable talent for music. Ted 有非凡的音乐天赋。下一个看到这个名词 consequence， 这个字特别指负面的结果、后果。例如 After cheating on the test, the students had to face the consequences of their actions. 在考试作弊后，学生们必须面对自己行为的后果。或是 The new law had an unexpected consequence on small businesses. 这项新法对小型企业有意想不到的影响。接着看到名词 demand， 指需求、要求。例如 There is always a high demand for airline tickets during peak holiday seasons. 在假期高峰期，机票的需求总是很高。也可以说 Prices tend to increase with demand. 价格往往跟着需求增加。
All right, we are back. So yeah, we mentioned how safari adventurers may want to witness the wildebeest migration, should they be lucky enough to get the chance. If you're a safari adventurer, you're basically a traveler, a human tourist who wants to go out and witness animals, especially African animals, in the wild. In the old days, a safari would be a hunting expedition into Africa to hunt for animals, but these days, of course, I think that's illegal in most places, and most people don't have much of an appetite for hunting, but hunting with your camera, taking pictures of the animals would definitely be something a lot of people like. So what would it be like if you were going to be going out there to try to witness the annual wildebeest migration? Let's learn about that in the first paragraph we have here.
Okay, so it says, observing the great wildebeest migration has become a bucket list experience for many nature lovers. So if you're a nature lover, of course, you love being outdoors. You like to check out animals and plants and flowers and stuff like that. And of course, most of us have a bucket list. This comes from the English term to kick the bucket, which is a slang term for dying. There are different ways to express that. So a bucket list is things you want to do before you die. And of course, these could include things like traveling to certain countries or experiencing some kinds of natural phenomena. Like some people, of course, want to see the northern lights, or they want to see a tornado or something like that, or go to Japan or whatever. Lots of people have a bucket list What sort of items are on your bucket list, Mike?
I guess maybe touring around Greece and Turkey and seeing a lot of the ancient Greek cities, the Greek colonies of that area. That would be an interesting little trip that I would enjoy taking someday. What about you?
Yeah, of course, traveling around the world is pretty cool, going to different places. Although I've been happy here in Taiwan, teaching and working and learning Chinese and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd like to spend more time in Japan. And indeed, I would like to see a tornado up close. I did see one once, but I didn't know it was a tornado at the time. I later found out it was. I just thought it was a weird-looking cloud. So yeah, I want to repeat that experience and actually see one, although it can be a very dangerous proposition. And maybe it's kind of dangerous to go check out these wildebeests as well. You want to avoid getting stampeded, but I'm sure it's quite safe if you keep your distance. And again, it's a bucket list experience for many people who like nature.
That's absolutely right. So let's look at that. It says, indeed, an entire industry has developed to serve travelers who want to experience this remarkable event. I don't think I'm telling anyone any news by saying that safari holidays in Africa are a popular thing for people to do. People go these days, and they've been doing that for many decades. But there's actually even a wildebeest migration tourism industry, and that's all set up to people who want to experience this remarkable event. It is truly remarkable when 2 million of some of the biggest animals in the world decide that they're going on holiday, and they all start walking off into the sunset, and a lot of people want to witness that because it is so special, it's so unusual, it's so remarkable, it's so absolutely incredible. So there are people who will help you scratch this item off your bucket list. It says local businesses benefit greatly from the influx of tourist money, but not everyone is happy. Sure, tourism is a big business driver, big economic engine around the world, and it brings in a lot of money, especially in terms of foreign currency, US dollars and euros and Japanese yen and things like that. So yeah, local businesses, from the tour guides themselves, the people who drive them around, the hotels, the restaurants, and all the rest of it, they benefit greatly from this influx of tourist money. When we have a lot of things going into a certain place, a lot of items going into a certain place from outside, often to serve a need or because of some changing condition, we can call that an influx. Now, we wouldn't use this about like a flood is an influx of water. No, it would be more for items or for individuals. An influx of people will go into a country, especially a popular country during the summer holidays. There'd be an influx of tourists to London and Paris and places like that. You could also have an influx of goods or items if a new country starts changing their trade policy or their currency suddenly becomes less valuable. There might be an influx of importers bringing lots of goods and services. So we're having a lot of things moving in, coming into a certain area. So there will definitely be a lot of money generated by this influx, all of these tourists coming to town and spending their money in order to witness the wildebeest migration. But not everyone is happy. This, of course, would be, we're talking about the local people who live in these African countries.
Right, in Kenya and Tanzania.
Yeah, so what are some of the concerns?
Well, some people worry that allowing too many visitors to observe the migration could have serious negative consequences. So, of course, locals there like the money, of course. They like the tourists. They can take them on tours to see the migration or to provide hotels or restaurants for the tourists. They can make some money that way. But other people are concerned about the environment. They might have negative consequences. The tourists probably might affect the local environment in bad ways. They might have negative consequences. A consequence is the result of something that happens. Of course, life is full of consequences. I used to have a theory in life that we really don't have to do anything in life except die. That's the consequence. Everything else we decide to do is a choice, or it's something we don't have to do, but of course we have to accept the consequences of our choices.
Absolutely. Specifically, it says that's the local people who have some worries about this new tourism. Specifically, they fear that the demand for additional facilities within Serengeti National Park could cause the wildebeests to change how and when they migrate. Yeah, absolutely. It's great for the wildebeest to be doing what they're doing, and they've been doing it that way for thousands of years. But if thousands of tourists and all their noisy trucks suddenly start invading these natural areas, these national parks, it could cause the animals to change what they do, change their behavior, and then, of course, the tourists will be disappointed because the wildebeests are no longer there. So they're worried that local people, and I'm sure local environmentalists, local biologists, scientists who study the wildebeest, they worry that the demand for additional facilities within the park could cause some changes in the animal's behavior. A demand for something is basically when you want or need something. We often use this word along with the word supply to talk about basic economics, right? If there's a demand, if people are out there with money saying, I want to buy something, that would be a demand. Then there will be a supply. A company will bring that product in order to sell it and to make money. So as more people go there, there will be more needs for the tourists, right? More parking spaces. They might meet more visitor centers with toilets and facilities like that. They might want to build a snack bar at the entrance to the park. All of this human development and the increased numbers of people that this development would be designed to accommodate, that could cause problems. As it says, it could cause the wildebeest to change how and when they migrate. They might just avoid these noisy, busy places because all these tourists in their safari trucks are bothering them and they're just going to go away.
Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson for today. Here comes the second part. Please listen carefully.
Furthermore, over-tourism isn't the only threat to the migration's existence. Climate change could also upset the delicate natural cycle that has existed for millennia. With food shortages, extreme floods, and droughts becoming increasingly common, it is reasonable to ask how the wildebeests will cope with the climate of the future.
第二部分介绍形容词 delicate， 表示脆弱的、易受损害的。可以说 Be careful with the delicate flower. 这朵花很脆弱，要小心。又或者说 Kylie held the butterfly carefully so she wouldn't damage its delicate wings. Kylie 小心地捧着那只蝴蝶，以免伤害到它脆弱的翅膀。往后看到名词 shortage， 意思是短缺、缺乏。例如 Because so many people showed up at the concert, there was a shortage of chairs. 因为太多人参加演唱会，所以椅子短缺。再一个例子 To solve the housing shortage, the government will build more houses. 为了解决房屋短缺问题，该政府会建造更多房子。继续看到名词 drought， 它表示干旱、旱灾。可以说 Many farmers lost their crops due to the severe drought. 由于严重干旱，许多农民损失了农作物。也可以说 A prolonged drought has caused water shortages in many parts of the country. 长期干旱导致了这个国家许多地区缺水。
Okay, here in the second part it says, furthermore, or in addition, also, over-tourism isn't the only threat to the migration's existence. Now, we've got tourism, of course, people going from different places to other places to check them out, to explore them, to have nice experiences and things like that. But if it's too much, if there are too many people and those people are causing problems for the local country or the local place, then that is over-tourism. We've heard this happening in Japan recently because of the weak Japanese yen. Lots of people are traveling to Japan and they're experiencing over-tourism. They have just too many tourists there. Everybody wants to go there to check the place out, but maybe there are too many tourists, but what can you do?
That is a tough question. And it says climate change could also upset the delicate natural cycle that has existed for millennia. So again, this isn't a direct cause like over-tourism, but it is, of course, human behavior and human activity changing things in another bigger way. Climate change. As the world warms and weather patterns change, these animals are following rain patterns throughout the summer months. So if those rain patterns change because of climate change, and of course climate change does cause global weather patterns to be altered, then this delicate natural cycle that has existed for millennia could be upset or could be knocked out of balance. If something is delicate, that means it's kind of easily broken. You have to be very, very careful with it. It could be very well made and very expertly designed, but it isn't tough, it isn't strong, it can't take a lot of knocks and damage without having something happen to it. Relationships can be delicate, right? If you have a person in your life that you often argue with, but sometimes you get along with them, you might have to be describing that relationship as kind of delicate. Maybe your brother, you and your sister or brother have fought a long time through your lives, so you have a delicate relationship. We would also think of things made in a certain way, like glass, of course, is very delicate. You might see a sticker saying delicate on the side of a box or something if they're shipping some piece of glass or artwork or something like that. That could also be delicate. And your health may possibly be delicate. If you get sick a lot and it can be easy for you to catch whatever disease or sickness is going around, you might be in delicate health, or maybe you're just older or something like that. So things that are easily damaged, broken, or upset can be described as delicate. So, of course, we need to take care around them. So this delicate natural cycle that has existed for millennia. Yes, again, no big secret. Wildebeest have been making this migration, this journey that they take every year. They've been doing it for thousands of years, and a millennium is 1,000 years. Millennia is just another way of saying for a very, very, very long time.
Yep, that's the plural form of millennium. And so here, of course, they've been doing this for thousands of years. And with food shortages, extreme floods, and droughts becoming increasingly common, it is reasonable to ask how the wildebeest will cope with the climate of the future. I don't think we're going to ask them directly, hey, what are you guys going to do about all these changes? Well, we might go this way instead. We might loop through Uganda instead of Tanzania or whatever. No, you can't ask them that, but still we need to figure out exactly what they're going to do. And we've got these different kinds of problems. We've got food shortages. A shortage just means you don't have enough of something. We have water shortages sometimes here in Taiwan because there are sometimes droughts, which are periods where there isn't any rain and therefore there isn't enough water for the reservoirs, so we might have water shortages. And of course, extreme floods, those happen sometimes when we have typhoons. It just rains too darn much and the rivers overflow their banks and the waters in the streets and stuff like that. It causes big problems.
All right, let's go on to the third and final part of the article.
No one has the answers yet, but since the wildebeest migration is a key feature of the Serengeti's ecosystem, the knock-on effects are huge. Just as Simba's fate was shaped by the stampede, the great wildebeest migration defines East Africa's ecosystem, so it's crucial that people work together to safeguard its future.
第三部分看到 crucial 这个单字，它是形容词，指的是极其重要的、关键的。举例来说 ，A motherboard is a crucial part of a computer. 主机板是电脑的一个重要零件。或者 Sesame oil is a crucial ingredient in this dish. 芝麻油是这道料理的重要材料。
Okay, here in the third and final part, it says, no one has the answers yet. No one has the solutions yet. But since the wildebeest migration is a key feature of the Serengeti's ecosystem, the knock-on effects are huge. Okay, so we don't really know what we're going to do about this, and we don't really know what's going to happen. There are all sorts of different factors involved. And yes, it's a key feature of the ecosystem of the Serengeti. If we don't have this migration, things will change there. Grass will grow in different ways, and it will affect how other animals live and survive. And we do have these knock-on effects. I guess those are kind of side effects.
Yeah, exactly. Side effects are things that happen after first thing has to happen. And it says, just as Simba's fate was shaped by the stampede, the great wildebeest migration defines East Africa's ecosystem, so it's crucial that people work together to safeguard its future. Here we are sort of calling back to talking about The Lion King, that movie, which of course had a great wildebeest migration, and there's a big part of the story that's based around that. So in the same way that the character of the young lion Simba was shaped or was changed or was influenced by the wildebeest stampede, this migration continues to define East Africa's ecosystem in the real world. So it is crucial. It is absolutely important and necessary. Something that is crucial is something that must be handled, must be taken care of, or must exist. It is crucial crucial for human beings to have oxygen or something like that. It is absolutely necessary. So it is absolutely necessary and very, very important that people work together to safeguard its future. That would be, of course, the wildebeest's future, but also the wildebeest's migration's future. We want to safeguard, we want to protect this, and of course it will take environmentalists and biologists and scientists and politicians in those countries, but also us, the sort of the tourists of the world with our tourism dollar. We have to make the right choices and also do our bit to safeguard these natural spaces and the wonders that exist in them.
Yep, hopefully we can do something so that those wildebeests can continue to run in circles for many years to come. Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation for today. Here comes our Chinese teacher, Hanny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。观察牛羚大迁徙的观光活动蓬勃发展。那课文第一部分有一句提到，当地企业从大量涌入的观光收入中获益良多，但并非每个人都感到高兴。好，文中用到名词 influx 来表达涌进、流入或汇集，它的字根 flux 就有 flow 流动的意思。那 flow in 应该很容易理解这个单字有流入的语义。我们来介绍这个相关的字根。首先 flu FLU 作为字根，它表示 flow 流动的意思。那它有可能会拼作 FLUC FLUV FLUX 等等，包含这一类字根的单字呢，大多含有流动的语义。像 fluent， 它由字根 FLU 表达流动，加上 ENT 形容词字尾合在一起 fluent 就表示流利的、流畅的。还有像 confluence， 它的字首 CON 表示一起， FLU 表示流动，ENCE 是名词字尾，一起流动到某个地方，应该可以联想到这个字它有汇流处啊、汇合或是聚集的意思。课文下一句提到，有些人担心让太多游客观察大迁徙可能带来严重的负面后果。文中它用到名词 consequence 表示后果，尤其是指负面的结果后果。我们这边也来介绍它的字首字根，看到 SECU、SEQU 或是 SUE 这一类字根表示紧跟、跟随，就是 follow 的意思。像电影、书籍、戏剧等等，他们的续集叫做 sequel， 其实就可以看出这个字根的语义了。至于在 consequence 这个字当中，字首 CON 表示共同一起，字根 SEQU 表示跟随， ENCE 是名词字尾，紧跟着一起来的事物，应该很容易联想到 consequence， 它表示结果、后果。好，那我们也顺便补充两个有这一类字根的单字。第一个补充 pursue， 它的字首 PUR 是源自于 PRO， 表示向前，在点点点之前。那么字根 SUE 表示跟随。同学们可以想象目标在前方，那一直跟随着目标向前迈进，用这个方式去联想到 pursue， 它有追求、追寻或者是追捕的意思。第二个补充的是 persecution， 它的字首 PER 表示彻底，字根 SECU 是指跟随， TION 是名词字尾。当某一个人一直如影随形，跟在你后面跟得很彻底，是不是会让人觉得很不舒服，或者是很困扰呢？那用这样的方式，也许可以联想到 persecution 它有迫害、困扰或烦扰的意思。好，那以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天单字吧。
Remarkable. Margot stared at the painting for 20 minutes, amazed by its remarkable attention to detail. Consequence. Isaiah knows he made a mistake and will have to face the consequences. Demand. The demand for electric cars has significantly increased in recent years. Delicate. The delicate balance of the rainforest is at risk because people keep cutting down trees. Shortage.
A water shortage last summer forced the residents of the town to limit their usage.
Drought. The drought lasted almost 3 years, and the farmers in the region suffered terribly from it. Crucial. To avoid injury, it's crucial to follow the safety rules at all times.
Discussion Starter starts now!
Here's our discussion starter for today. The question is, what is another example of animal migration that you know of, and why do the animals in question migrate?
I guess another example of animal migration I've heard of is the monarch butterfly, that very famous sort of orange and black butterfly. It travels from Mexico all the way up to northern U.S., southern Canada over many years, and these animals migrate because of changing weather patterns and also because I believe they have their young in one area and they travel to other areas to feed, and it really is quite an impressive thing.
Well, I don't know if it's a migration per se, but I've heard of this phenomenon. I think it's in Saskatchewan or Manitoba somewhere, where all these garter snakes emerge from the ground. There are like thousands of them, and they come out all at one time. And of course, people want to go check that out. If you're scared of snakes, don't check that out because you'll probably be scared to death. Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program. And please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Roger.
I am Mike.
See you next time.